Transfer portal is set to open up on January 2nd, meaning there is going to be mass movement across the college football world. We already know a number of quarterbacks and big-name players that are expected to enter once the portal opens. Ryan, let's go through a list of some of the top names and project where we believe they are going to land based on some information we're hearing and also just some best fits. Starting with Nebraska, former Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola, not Patrick Mahomes. Dylan Raiola, where do you think he fits best?
I think Miami makes a lot of sense for him, Joe. I really just like him in that Shannon Dawson offense that really is going to take advantage of throwing outside the numbers, because I think that he is a player that has a snappy delivery, that can drive outside of the numbers. And I think that when healthy, he is a very promising, talented quarterback that needs to be in the right system, and I think Shannon Dawson could work some wonders with Raiola.
Right, you kind of get a little bit of production that's left on the bone with what he had to work with at Nebraska. It just felt really wonky, but then very similar to Cam Ward. Cam Ward goes to Miami, and he plays in Shannon Dawson's offense, and they explode. Ridiculous production that season. Some similarities in the improvisational play style where he is going to freelance and see what he can find while he's extending plays. The trope is that he's trying to become Patrick Mahomes, and to a degree, that's what he's capable of becoming with the tools that he has. Him at Miami would be interesting. Texas Tech would be funny, but I don't think it's going to happen.
They already announced it's not going to happen, so he's not going to be a Texas Tech Red Raider. He's not. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean they announced that that's not going to happen?
Pete Nakos from On3 said that Texas Tech is not expected to be a player in that recruitment. So,
Lame.
Yeah.
Lame. How about you not going to pick up the phone and say, Patrick, I want to become you. How do you not help me out here? I think Oregon would be really intriguing because they've had such success with the guys that they've brought in. Every single portal quarterback that they've brought in has played at a really high level. I don't know what the offense looks like without Will Stein, and maybe that uncertainty impacts where he decides to go. But, man, seeing Raiola as that next great Oregon quarterback would be super intriguing. Josh Hoover from TCU is a baller, really, really good player, had a really nice stretch in the middle of the season, but tailed off a little bit. Older player who could have been a riser in the upcoming draft, but he's making the right move, making the jump into the portal. Do you see him going somewhere big where he's going to put up big numbers to make him into a first-round pick?
I think the two schools to watch right now are Tennessee and Indiana. I know Indiana for a fact has him on his list, and that's the one I'm going to pick, Joe. I think any quarterback would be really dumb to not look what they were just able to do with Fernando Mendoza, what Kirk Cignetti was able to do with Mendoza, and not say, hey, imagine what I could do in that offense, in that system. I think that would be the best case scenario for him because he needs to learn how to play within structure a lot better, man. Like, he is a really talented thrower of the football, big-time arm talent. He needs to learn structure, and I think in a place like Indiana with Cignetti would do wonders for a player like Hoover.
I like him playing for Cignetti and him getting an opportunity with pro-style concepts to prove what he's capable of. The other part with this, you mentioned Tennessee. Doesn't totally help him build his path to the NFL because there hasn't exactly been a successful track record of those guys in that offense. But my just obsessiveness of wanting to see a dude with the arm talent to put up gaudy numbers in an offense that's really good at producing some ridiculous passing totals. If Joey Aguilar can have the games that he did, I think that Hoover could take it to a completely other level. Brendan Sorsby is another guy who's been brought up for both schools. I believe Sorsby even has pointed out that he was a Tennessee fan growing up, which is kind of interesting. Where do you see Brendan Sorsby, who still could potentially enter the upcoming NFL draft?
Yeah, he actually has family that lives in Knoxville right now. So there is Tennessee ties there without question, which is why Tennessee's being mentioned, Indiana, Texas Tech. I'm going to go with Texas Tech, Joe. I don't necessarily think maybe that's 100% the best fit, but of the realistic options for Sorsby right now, since I just picked Hoover to Indiana, I'm going to go with Texas Tech. I think if you were able to get that much out of Baron Morton in that offense, and Baron Morton's a solid player, right? But if you were able to get that much out of him in that Joey Maguire offense, I think you could get a whole lot out of the talent that Brennan Sorsby brings to the table. So I'll go with the Red Raiders.
I do like the idea of having somebody who's a little bit more mobile and dynamic playing in that Texas Tech offense. But I got to be honest with you here. DJ Lagway is somebody who I am like the most excited about the thought of him ending up at Texas Tech. Here's my biggest thing. outside of the intrigue of having an up-and-coming program, getting a true five-star, just premier big-armed player who had a rough season this year, getting that marriage together, and if it works, I think it takes Texas Tech to a whole new level. Morton's a solid player, but man, DJ Lagway has the ability to take this whole thing to a high level that we might not even be able to project in this conversation. But here's the biggest part. We saw DJ Lagway struggle. We saw him have a lot of issues. Big reason why he struggled so much. They had the hardest schedule in the country back-to-back years. That kid survived his freshman year, made a lot of really big plays, tried to do way too much this year, had a ridiculous amount of turnovers. Throw him into the Big 12 on the far and away best roster in the Big 12. He can really, really cook. I love the idea of, and I know if this sounds maybe a little bit defeatist, and maybe it's a little cowardly to have this approach if you're DJ Lagway, but to take a much easier route and still have a chance to really have some highlight moments in the college football playoff, leading Texas Tech to another Big 12 championship, that entices me. I think it can do wonders for his draft stock.
Yeah, I think it's between Texas Tech and Miami. I know I picked Miami already, and I also picked Texas Tech, so I'm going to double up here, which is unfortunate, but we're going to double up, Joe. I think that Miami would be another good spot for DJ Lagway. He's a Texas kid that's lived in Florida. He doesn't have to move too far to go to the University of Miami. In that Shannon Dawson offense, again, he's been able to get the best out of a couple guys that were maybe kind of trajecting downward to a degree. And I think DJ Lagway is a reclamation project. He's had a lot of injuries, but in a Shannon Dawson offense, again, I have some positivity that they'll be able to get the most out of a player like Lagway as well.
Last guy, the only non-quarterback we're talking about here, Jaden Ball, the very talented Florida running back, is expected to enter. Hasn't really been official just yet. There's a couple of teams that immediately come to mind. Oklahoma needs a dynamic running back. Alabama needs a dynamic running back. Texas needs a dynamic running back. I feel like the SEC should get into the mix for him. And I'll throw one more that's not an SEC school. I think Miami could use a little bit more explosiveness. They've got these big, massive forklift running backs that are just going to kind of run through you. Imagine having the burst that Baugh brings to the table as well.
The Mark Fletcher disdain in your voice on that one was pretty wild.
No. Stop it.
Another one I would throw out there. I'm not picking it, but Ohio State I think is an interesting one potentially for a player like Jaden Ball. I mean, I like Bo Jackson, but Bo Jackson plus Jaden Ball is a lot of fun. We've seen them with a two running back system that's been very good and very recent past, but I will go with Texas, Joe. If I'm the Longhorns, after losing Cedric Baxter, after Baxter had his injuries this past year, trying desperately to hold on to Quintavious? What was his first name? Trey Wisner. I'm not going to do the whole first name. Quintravious, yes. Trey Wisner trying to desperately keep him. If I am Texas,
Quintravian Wisner.
Sorry. I don't know why I tried to go with the full name. Just call him Trey Wisner.
Just said Trey. Everyone calls him Trey.
I know. If I'm Texas, if I am Steve Sarkisian, I am sending a blank check to Jaden Ball if he enters the transfer portal. That's a guy that I think upgrades that run game in a big way. Even if the offensive line isn't perfect, he's the type of player that's used to making a lot out of nothing a lot of the times that behind Florida's offensive line this past year.
Everybody do me a favor. Comment below your favorite fit for all of these guys. Or one guy. Just one guy that you think, man, I want to see him play for this school. This would be really, really cool. Hit the like button as well. Hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you guys next week.